Please start, Doctor.
Good morning to all, and a very happy new year to all the participants joined virtually. A heartfelt welcome to each and every one of you for today's enlightening webinar. I am Dr. Pradeep Golani, the co-convener of this webinar, and it brings me immense pleasure to witness such a diverse and engaged audience gathered virtually. Your presence adds great value to this richness of our discussion, and I look forward to an insightful and collaborative session. Today marks the 35th SPSR webinar on revolutionizing healthcare for a developed India, Pradhan Mantri Jan Aushadhi Pariyojana, and the Viksit Bharat mission. This event stands as the 35th in the series hosted by the Society of Pharmaceutical Sciences and Research under the mentorship of Dr. Shashi Alok, the National President of SPSR and the Editor in Chief of the International Journal of Pharmaceutical Sciences and Research. Our collective aim, inspired by the leadership of Dr. Shashi Alok, is to ensure healthy lives and promote well being for all at all ages. The objectives guiding our efforts encompass a wide spectrum from holding conferences to promote the pharmacy profession to contributing to programs and services focusing on the health needs of India and the prevention of diseases. We also seek to honor eminent pharmacists dedicated to advancing the pharmacy profession and actively promote the acquisition, dissemination, and the exchange of pharmacy knowledge. It is our honor to have Dr. Saurabh Dahiya, Associate Dean, Delhi Pharmaceutical Sciences and Research University, Government of NCT of Delhi, New Delhi, India. Dr. Dahiya expertise in the field is invaluable, and we eagerly anticipate gaining insights from his wealth of knowledge. In our midst, we are joined by the respected Mrs. Monica Sabarwal, convener of this webinar, National Secretary of Society of Pharmaceutical Sciences and Research, and Managing Editor of the International Journal of Pharmaceutical Sciences and Research and International Journal of Pharmacognosy. Without further delay, I would like to invite Mrs. Monica Sabarwal to welcome our esteemed guest speaker, Dr. Saurabh Dahiya, and lead us through this enlightening session.
Thank you so much. A very good morning, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, and the esteemed guests, participants from around the globe, a very warm welcome to the 35th SPSR webinar on revolutionizing healthcare for developed India, Pradhan Mantri Jan Aushadhi Pariyojana, and the Viksit Bharat mission. I am Monica Sabharwal, the convener of this webinar, and it is my privilege to stand before you on this momentous occasion. As we embark on this intellectual journey into the heart of healthcare innovation, I extend my warm New Year greetings to each and every one of you. May this year will be filled with prosperity, good health, and countless opportunities for the growth to everyone. The theme of our webinar, The Revolutionizing Healthcare for the Developed India, underscores the significance of collaborative efforts and innovative strategies in building a robust healthcare system. We will delve into the Pradhan Mantri Jan Aushadhi Pariyojana and the Viksit Bharat mission, explaining how these initiatives contribute to vision of healthier and more prosperous India. Society of Pharmaceutical Sciences and Research (SPSR) takes a great pride in bringing you the first webinar of this new year, a platform dedicated to the exploring the groundbreaking advancements in the healthcare. Today, we are honored to host a distinguished speaker who has been a forefront of the pharmaceutical research and education. He is Dr. Saurabh Dahiya, the Associate Dean of Delhi Pharmaceutical Sciences and Research University, Government of NCT of Delhi, New Delhi, India. Dr. Dahiya's insight and expertise promise to enrich our understanding of transforming, initiating, shaping the healthcare landscape in the India. It is a great pleasure for us to welcome Dr. Shashi Alok, the National President of SPSR. Dr. Shashi Alok's extraordinary leadership and dedication to the scientific research have been active in propelling our community forward and advancing a culture of innovation. Under his visionary guidance, the Society of Pharmaceutical Sciences and Research (SPSR) has undergone a remarkable transformation, emerging as a shining example of excellence in the realm of the pharmaceutical sciences. I would also like to express my sincere appreciation for the invaluable contribution of the Dr. Pradeep Golani, the co-convener of this webinar, and the organizing team members, Dr. Sanjay Nagdev and Mr. Rangu Agarwal. Their tireless efforts have played a crucial role in transforming the vision of this event into a reality. Behind the scenes, there is a dedicated team whose hard work and commitment have been the driving force behind the seamless organization of this webinar. Their attention to detail and the passion of excellence have made this event possible. And I extend my heartfelt gratitude to each and every one SPSA team members. I am pleased to share the response of this webinar has been overwhelming, with over more than 2,200 registrations pouring in from more than 12 countries. This global participation reflects the shared commitment to advancing the healthcare on an international scale. Without further ado, I invite you to engage, learn, and contribute to the rich tapestry of knowledge that will unfold over the course of this webinar. Thank you for your eager participation, and let us make this 35th SPSR webinar a memorable and impactful event. Don't forget to subscribe to our SPSR YouTube channel to stay updated on the latest webinars and the research insights. Thank you, and let's begin with the 35th SPSR webinar. Over to you, Dr. Pradeep Golani.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, Mrs. Monica Savarba, ma'am, for allowing me to conduct this webinar. And now let's begin with a brief introduction of Dr. Saurabh Dahiya. Dr. Saurabh Dahiya, a Delhi University pharmacy graduate, is presently working as the Associate Dean, Administration and Student Welfare, and G20 Nodal Officer at Delhi Pharmaceutical Sciences and Research University, Government of NCT of Delhi, New Delhi, India. He gained postdoctoral research experience at School of Medicine, University of Louisville, Kentucky, USA, and PhD from Jamia Hamdard, New Delhi. He got industrial research training at Ranbaxy Research Laboratories, Gurgaon. To his credit, he has research publications of very high impact like Human Molecular Genetics, Journal of Immunology, Metabolomics, the Quality Assurance Journal, etc., to name a few. 3 PhDs have been awarded under his supervision, and 3 research scholars are currently pursuing PhD research work. He has registered 4 copyrights with Government of India, obtained 4 patents internationally too. He has delivered numerous national and international talks, invited lectures, keynote address, etc. He has participated in hundreds of conferences, workshops, seminars, symposia, along with chairing scientific sessions. He has more than 15 years of experience in academic institution of repute, amalgamating various roles in teaching, research, and administration, and also served as the principal. He was conferred with the Principal of the Year Award 2019 by Association of Pharmacy Professionals at AIMST University, Malaysia. His areas of research interest include analytical assays, validation, synthesis, and development of target-specific dosage forms, including radiopharmaceuticals, analytical profiling of pharmaceutical formulations, and clinical research on lifestyle diseases. It brings us immense joy and pride to share that we have garnered the participation of over 2,200 attendees from across the globe, representing a diverse array of more than 12 countries. Among them, we have significant presence from India, Daman, Kuwait, Nepal, Nigeria, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, Switzerland, UAE, Ukraine, USA, and Yemen. The overwhelming response from such a wide reaching and varied audience is truly humbling. We extend our heartfelt gratitude to each and every participant for choosing to be the part of this significant event. Thank you all for joining us today. Let's make this webinar an insightful and enriching experience for everyone involved. We have our esteemed guest speaker, Dr. Saurabh Dahiya, with us. Welcome, sir. Kindly, I request you to share your PowerPoint presentation and talk.
Thank you, Dr. Pradeep, for this overwhelming welcome note to the program as well as giving my brief introduction. Thank you so much for coordinating the event too. And also thanks to Mrs. Monica Sabharwal also for coordinating between the participants and the organizing team and the speaker. Thank you so much, madam. And a very special thanks to Dr. Shashi Alok, who uh, approached me and he brought me in and gave this wonderful topic for this today's webinar. And a very warm good morning to one and all the registered participants who have registered for this particular event from all over the globe. And 2200 as has been told, the number of registered participants by Dr. Sashi Alok as well as Dr. Pradeep Golani is not a small number, that too on a cold wintry morning. And kindly accept my warm greetings. And definitely, even though the winters and the day is cold, but our energy is not less than anything. So we are completely charged, we are completely energized to delve into the new topic, which is the mix and match of the earlier running program of Government of India, which is Pradhan Mantri Jan Aushadhi Pariyojana, as well as the newer concept given by Prime Minister Modi ji about the Viksit Bharat Mission 2047. So without much ado, let me share my screen with all of you. Sir, is my screen available to all of you?
Yes, sir, it's visible, sir.
Okay, so thank you so much. So this is just about the topic, revolutionizing healthcare for a developed India under the Pradhan Mantri Jan Aushadhi Pariyojana and the Viksit Bharat Mission. Because what we see now is that if we have to become the Viksit Bharat, the developed country, in our own ways and in our own definitions, then definitely we have to take small steps as a country, as a citizen, as a healthcare team partner or the healthcare worker, and one of them being the Pradhan Mantri Jan Aushadhi Pariyojana. The main focus for us being for this topic that we all or most of us who are registered participants are the pharmacists or from the pharmacy community. So definitely this kind of topic attracts us more. In the last year when I was reading the Economic Times, so I came across this particular news, which says that India slips 3 spots to rank 120 on 17 SDG goals adopted as 2030 agenda. And definitely this was not at all a happy news article for me, that why India is slipping down and what these SDGs are and how do we ourselves link to it and what we can do about it. So these were all the topics and these were all the, I can say, the key points which were shaking my mind, that what can we do, how do we do better. So then I start researching about it, and what I came across I'm putting across to you as well. The sustainable development goals, which is called as the SDGs in short, or the global goals, are a collective or a collection of 17 global, we can say, key points which are designed to be the shared blueprint for peace and prosperity for people and the planet now and in the future. So these are those 17 key points on which all the countries, maybe it is a developed country, developing country, or whichever country, or maybe even the poor, or we can say the countries where they are having more difficulties with their economic situations, all of them, but they have to keep pace with these 17 SDGs for a better future, for a shared blueprint of peace and prosperity for their citizens. The SDGs, these actually were started in 2015 by the United Nations General Assembly, UNGA, and these were commonly adopted for each and everyone. And they are intended to be achieved as a target was set for year 2030, that by the year 2030, if as a nation, each nation is able to contribute more and more towards these 17 interlinked globally shared SDGs, then definitely their citizens will be having more and more peace and prosperity in their country. So these are these 17 parameters which I am talking about. Number 1 is about no poverty. Number 2 is zero hunger. Then third is good health and well-being. Fourth being quality education. Fifth, gender equality. Sixth is clean water and sanitation. Seventh being affordable and clean energy. Then decent work and economic growth. Ninth being industry, innovation and infrastructure. 10th being reduced inequalities. 11th is sustainable cities and communities. And 12th is reasonable and responsible consumption and production. 13th is talking about climate action. Then 14th is talking about life below water, or the sea and rivers. Then 15th being life on land. 16th is peace, justice and strong institutions. And 17th being partnerships for the goals. So definitely we can understand from these dimensions of these 17 SDGs that they are covering almost each and every parameter which is affecting a citizen, and which, if it is taken care of by a country, by the various institutions, by the various processes, by the citizens, by the responsible non-government organizations as well. So definitely these 17 parameters will be addressed, and definitely we will be sustaining development in that particular country if it is taken care of. Then where does India stand? So India, as I told in the year 22, when I read this news article, so India was standing at the position of 121 out of 163 countries which were ranked for these SDGs. And if we further go on, then there are, you will see that there are certain marks, like the arrow is going up, or the arrow is going down, or the arrow is going horizontally. Then there are different labels also, or the colors also to the arrow. So in the lower side, you can see that if it is red, it is decreasing. If it is horizontal and yellow, it is stagnating. If it is going up, then it is moderately improving. So what we are more concerned as pharmacists, as teachers, as community pharmacists, as hospital pharmacists, as research pharmacists. So mainly we are concerned about the third point, which is good health and well-being. So in good health and well-being, if we see, our country score is 60.3 as is shown upside. So if we further talk about the good health and well-being, so here we will see there are some good indicators also, which is showing the indicator in the green color, as well as it is showing increase. It is showing some upward progression. So the first being maternal mortality rate. So we are doing good on that front. Then there is neonatal mortality rate. There also we are doing good. Mortality rate under 5. Again, we are in the progression stage. Then incidence of tuberculosis. So here there is significant challenge which remains, but still we are not doing bad. So this is the positive sign. Then there is new HIV infections. So a lot of things in the last 15 to 20 years the government has done about the stopping, about the you can say awareness about the HIV infection, and that is what has resulted in the better outcomes. So among these various indicators of good health and well-being, we can understand that if the government and the citizens, if they come together and they yield to the good policies, then definitely good results will also follow, and then we will also contribute to the to going upward in the SDGs, especially in the good health and well-being, which is the SDG 3. Then further, if we want to still achieve it in a better way, in a faster way, in a less time, then what do we do? Then if we go through the minor details of the SDG 3, good health and well-being, then there is one thing which comes down here in the chart, which is universal health coverage, which is UHC index. So in UHC index, if worst is 0 and 100 is best, then we are already standing in the year 2019 at position 61. So it means we are already in a stage where we can say, as per marks, we already have our first division. If I am a student, then if I talk in that sense, then definitely going up further and getting a distinction is not far ahead, and we can achieve it. So definitely the government then started working on this part, that how do we do and take steps that we achieve universal health coverage, UHC index goes up, and we are able to give the health coverage to each and every citizen of India. So first of all, we should understand what the universal health coverage means to us. This means that we have to give safe, effective, and quality medicines and health products to our citizens. Basically, this is talking about this. So if we have to talk in those terms, and then we are talking internationally, then definitely we have to also take stock of the situation, that what WHO is saying. So WHO is also mandating kind of, or you can say that WHO is also directing the member countries that they should make the scenario in their country such that the medicines and the other health products, maybe like any other instrument or any other health device, or the medicines or bandages or whatever maybe the category of the product, but which is used for the betterment of the health. So that should be available at a lower cost and should be easily available. It should be effective. It should be of good quality. So that is what the WHO is saying. So how do we do it? Because there are a variety of differences in geographical areas, then variety of we can say administrative hospitals, variety of geographical distinguishedness in the globe. So how do we do? How do we reach at a common target? How do we reach at a common goal? So for that, in 1977, WHO made a list of essential medicines, because otherwise then everybody will have different targets, and every country may assume, or every country may claim that they are giving universal health coverage, so and easy access to medicines. So instead of that, what the WHO did was that WHO gave a comprehensive list, which is called as the essential medicines list, which was for the first time given in 1977, where they gave a list of medicines, that this is the bare minimum essential list of medicines which should be available within the country at the various platforms of health delivery. For example, the PHC, the primary health centers, or the district health center, or then the bigger hospitals, and so on. So these are all those kind of list of medicines. This list began with 208 identified medicines and then has grown to include 460 different pharmaceuticals. Although it was not designed as a global standard, but now it acts as a that kind of global standard, that yes, if they are available, then more or less most of the you can say the scenarios of health problems or the health challenges can be addressed with these drugs. Earlier it was 208 and now it is 460. Then there is a guideline given by the WHO, which is called as WHO Guideline on Country Pharmaceutical Pricing Policies. And that particular guideline also in its section 3.7 is which is about promoting the use of quality assured generic and biosimilar medicines, because then if we are giving these medicines, then their quality also has to be assured. and they have to be of a good standard and effective. So what recommendation WHO gave in this particular guideline is that WHO recommends that countries enable early market entry of generic and biosimilar medicines through legislative and administrative measures with a view to encouraging early submission of regulatory applications, allowing for prompt and effective review, and ensuring that these products are safe, efficacious, and quality assured. Why we are reading this as a definition, as a direction statement, or as a recommendation statement? Because so much is contained in this particular we can say para. Because here in this particular policy, WHO itself is recommending that the various nations, the various countries, they have to make their country market accessible to generics and biosimilar medicines, and they have to make their legislative and administrative framework in such a way which encourages early submission of applications of these generic drugs. Otherwise, if there is no entry of these applications, then how that country can allow the generics usage or the availability to its citizens? So it is in this particular recommendation, which we can say a strong recommendation, that they have recommended that the country has to allow the generic or the biosimilar medicines application to be submitted to the regulatory bodies, and then to allow for the prompt and effective review of them, so that it is ensured that these medicines which are generics, they are available to the common public in a safe, efficacious, and quality assured manner. So this is that direction. Then access to appropriate medications is shown to have substantial impact on community health and the related economic indicators. So this is for sure that why we are focusing on the generic medicines, and why WHO is also recommending, why earlier they started with the medicines list, then they shifted over their focus to the quality generics, because the medications in most of the countries, it was seen that they are very, very expensive. And if somebody from any family is facing a serious life-threatening challenge with respect to their health, so in accessing the medicine and providing the quality medication to that patient, most of the budget, most of the families who were medium income families or low income families, they were completely disturbed, distorted, and shattered in making available those medicines. So what is the way out? So the way out is that the medicines prices has to go down. They have to be cheaper with the same efficacy, with the same quality. So that is the reason it was then given more focus or more importance. Quality assured, safe, and effective medicines, vaccines, medical devices are fundamental to the functioning of the health system, because ultimately, even though the physician will be definitely diagnosing, giving suggestions, giving directions to the rest of the healthcare team, but ultimately it is the medicine which has to go inside the patient and has to show the effect and the improve the functioning of the health of the patient. So definitely its price has to go down. So if we see about the medicines, so our the modern history, we can say the development started right from the aspirin, which was introduced in 1897, and today thousands and thousands of drugs are available in the market to lessen the ailments and improve the patient from the fatal implications. At the same time, there are some serious challenges also which we are facing, which is one of them being antimicrobial resistance, and which is also a point of concern for the global health community today. The WHO's essential medicines list and list of essential diagnostics are core guidance documents that help countries prioritize critical health products that should be widely available and affordable throughout the health system. So in this particular slide, we are telling that strengthening access to essential medicines is very, very important, because if our supply chains, if our availability is more, if our prices are going down, then definitely our healthcare system will also be strengthened in one way or the other. So the first list of essential medicines started with 208 figure. Then it moved on to 350 in the year 21. And then again in the year 21, a second list was also issued, which was having 479 essential medicines. Then ensuring fair prices. Then this is also another thing, that the major barrier is price being the major barrier. So the price has to go down so that out of pocket expenses of the patient and the patient's family goes down, and that can be done only with the help of generic medicines. And WHO is gathering all the data for the affordability of the medicines the world over, and they have also even developed their app also, the WHO Essential Medicines and Health Products Price and Availability Monitoring Mobile Application, which is called as WHO EMP MedMon, which allows users to monitor medicines prices and availability. So this also they have issued as a app in the smartphone, through which the essential medicines can be tracked world over. If we see the historical part, then before the 1960s, the pharmaceutical industry was almost unregulated, and there was not much regulations. The government was not any government was not giving any much concern to the quality or to the other ethical parts of the drug manufacturing thing. But then slowly the FDA, and then in India the CDSCO came into regulation and came into existence, and then they started overseeing the procedures of each and everything, the manufacturing, distribution, sale, clinical trials, each and every part of it. Then why did it happen? It happened because of this landmark tragedy, which is called the thalidomide tragedy, which happened in 1960s. And thalidomide, all of us know, that was the first marketed in 1957 in West Germany under the brand name Pradhan, and it was used against nausea and to alleviate morning sickness in pregnant women. So this was for such a we can say common thing, which is happening to almost we can say more than 80% of the pregnant females. But shortly, what was seen, that after the drug was sold in West Germany, about 5,000 to 7,000, some people say 10,000 infants were born with phocomelia, which was a malformation of the limbs, and only 40% of these children who were having phocomelia survived, and rest of them died. So this was that particular tragedy which happened in Australia, in Europe, in Germany, in most of the, we can say, developed countries it happened, but US was saved from it, because one of the inspectors who was having the powers to permit imports or to see the documents, whosoever is giving an application for the import of the drugs in the United States, her name was Frances Oldham Kelsey. She stopped it because she saw in the application that there was no proof of safety trials, so and safety profile of the drug. So she stopped it. And meanwhile, when she was just reviewing it, and she had as an initial sign, she had stopped it, the reports of this phocomelia started coming in from the various parts of the world, and she was later also awarded the President's Award in 1962 in the United States for saving the children of US. So this is how the we can say the drug development has happened, and the regulations then were also came into picture because of these kind of tragedies, that US FDA and then in rest of the parts of the world, the other regulatory bodies also came into existence, and they started asking for good amount of proof of safety of the drug before giving it. So quality, safety, step by step, each and every of them, these terms, they became prominent, and they became important for the drugs business, as well as for giving the drugs, allowing the drugs to the patients. So in this particular chart, we can see that when the drug discovery process starts, from there almost approximately 10,000 new chemical entities start with it, with the chemical library synthesis and purification, and then they go through various tests, or we can say processes, involving animal testing, short term as well as long term, then the clinical studies spanning from 6 to 7 years, with the phase 1, 2, and 3 trials, and then the regulatory overview and review of the submitted data, which again take approximately 2 years, and then the post-marketing surveillance for the rest of the lifetime of the drug. So approximately it takes 12 years plus, or maybe roughly something like 15 years. And the chemical entities which we start with is approximately 10,000, and then we finally land up only as 1 to 2 approved drugs. So this is a very, very lengthy process and very time taking, as at the same time a, we can say, $1 billion project for getting approved drug. So when this much time and this much energy, this much money is being spent on producing a successful drug, so definitely the inventor, definitely the company, definitely the entity who is spending that much money, that industry will definitely get a return, would want to get a return out of it. So that return is being given by most of the countries in the form of patent. They issue patents to the company, and for a period of approximately 20 years, that patent remains valid, and the company, we can say the company on one side and the government or the nation or the country on another side, they prohibit others from usage of that particular drug molecule or the technology for production and sale. But at the expiry of those 20 years, or whatever is the provided time duration of patent in that respective country, after that it is open that the other innovators or the other companies, they can also manufacture the same, and they can directly submit the data post trials. I mean, they do not need to conduct the clinical studies or the discovery stage, the animal testing stage. All these stages, the earlier 10 to 12 years are almost, we can say, deleted for them. They do not go for that. They straight away submit the data of the efficacy and safe efficacy, and they submit it to the regulatory review. The regulatory review, or we can say the FDA of the respective country, takes from something from 6 months to 2 years time in reviewing it, and then they give the licensing for the generic drug manufacturing. So it is how that the generic drugs are cheaper. So this is the only thing, that they are cheaper. It does not mean that they have to make a compromise with the quality or the efficacy or the therapeutic properties of the drug. But the main point being that they take less time. These companies, they are having their expenditure is less as compared to the original innovator, original inventor company. And also in this chart, we are showing that there is high risk also in drug development, because we can see here that the in central nervous system drugs, only 14% is the success rate. In cardiovascular group, 17% is success rate. Immunology, 15%. Infections, 28%. So and what are the reasons of abandonment of the drugs which reach up to the stage of plus 12 years and so on? So efficacy 37%, economics 33%, safety 19%, and other factors 9%. So we can understand that even after spending that much of money, the inventor company, most or many of the times, they lose their expenditure because it does not turn up into a success story. So this is again the depiction of the same, that just 12% of drug candidates that enter clinical testing are approved for use by patients. So most of the drugs, we can say, even though they are into the clinical testing and all, so still 90% of them, they are unsuccessful attempts, and only 12% are successful. So this is again the same depiction of the same, that out of 10,000 compounds, only 1 or 2 reaches the final stage. So this is where the expenditure goes in, and that is the reason they become more and more expensive. But then the one which I just showed you, that the last 2 years in the at a time when the original patent has expired, after that just the new company can utilize, or the same company also, the same company can utilize those 2 years and submit only partial data. Partial data means only the therapeutic efficacy data, and then they can go on if approved for the generic manufacturing. But generic manufacturing is also clubbed with the same quality standards. They cannot skip any of the quality parameters. So what quality parameters do they follow? They also follow the GLP, the good laboratory practice, the GCP, good clinical practice, GMP, good manufacturing practice, GSP, good storage practices, GDP, good distribution practice, and GPP, good pharmacy practice. In the period of the drug life cycle, predicting the possibility of creating new drugs or drugs with improved pharmacological properties, synthesis of chemical compounds, the candidate drug, the preliminary pharmacological screening of this candidate drug in order to select the most promising one. The preclinical trials are done with the in the vision of GLP, and GLP is a set of principles within which laboratory studies are planned, performed, monitored, recorded, reported, and archived. And then it goes into the next phase, which is the clinical evaluation of the most promising chemical compounds. But this phase, GCP phase, does not apply to the generic manufacturing. But for rest of the drugs, it applies. And this GCP is actually the standards which government can transpose into regulations for clinical trials involving human subjects. Then the next phase of the drug being the solution of technological problem on creation of the dosage form, the pharmaceutics part, the manufacturing application of drug, and there applies the GMP. GMP means the rules of production and quality control of drugs, or we can say the directions, the recommendations. Then the next phase of the drug being the distribution phase, the distribution of formulated drugs for the pharmacy network, and there the company has to follow GDP, good practice in wholesale trade. The next phase being sale of formulated drugs, and there the company or the industry has to follow the GPP, good pharmacy or drug store and good pharmacovigilance practice. This is the same, the life cycle is shown here. Then how do they come into existence, or what was the regulatory part of the generics, that how did they come upon, and when did it happen? So in USA, the US FDA is handling the things. In Europe, EMEA is handling. In India, CDSCO is handling. So it all happened because of the in United States there is an act which is called as Hatch-Waxman Act. The Hatch-Waxman Act of 1984 allows pharmaceutical products to be manufactured and marketed by firms other than the original innovator upon ANDA approval, if they are submitting abbreviated new drug application, and if it gets approved, then this act says that they should be allowed to manufacture and market the pharmaceutical products just like the original inventor company. In lower and middle income countries, generic markets are still evolving. How evolving? Then their regulatory part is, because they are part of TRIPS agreement, trade related intellectual property rights agreement is there, and they are members to it of the TRIPS. And then the second basis being the essential drugs list published by the World Health Organization, where the World Health Organization is recommending that each country has to make these essential medicines which are listed in this particular list to be available effectively, easily accessible in their markets. They all share the same rationale, which is to provide an equally effective, cheaper alternative to a brand name drug. Because the brand name drug now we have seen, and we are now aware that they are very, very expensive. So the TRIPS as well as the WHO Essential Medicines List and its recommendations, and then followed by the 1984 Waxman-Hatch Act in USA, all of these they are conversing, or we can say they are all recommending that finally we have to provide equally effective, cheaper alternative to brand name drugs. It means what we have to provide is we have to provide the generic drugs. The prerequisite for the market introduction of the generic product is the approval of the ANDA with manufacturing in compliance with CGMP. So definitely they have to submit the ANDA for manufacturing and getting it approved, but clubbed with CGMP, that there is no compromise with the quality. They have to submit the same data, same everything as far as manufacturing and its practices are concerned. The pre-formulation study tasks for the generic drugs are simpler than those for the original prescription drugs, because the pre-formulation have already been done. They are almost the same. The same is the salt, the same is the drug, same is the API. By the time the generic product is marketed, the innovative drug product may have been sold for a long time. So maybe 15 years plus, 20 years plus or so. The generic product introduction permits competition among some drug products in the market, resulting in a lower cost with minimum quality compromise. So already the branded drug is there, and the branded drug may be available with not only with one company, maybe with several companies. And now the generics are also coming. Maybe in some countries like India, they are also coming with a brand name. But still, definitely we can see from Eagle's viewpoint that definitely there are several companies which are providing the same salt, same API dosage form. So if there is more competition, definitely the quality will be same, but the price will go down. That is what we want. Generic drugs are identical or bioequivalent versions of brand name drugs in terms of intended use, dosage, safety, strength, quality. So when everything is same, so there is no difference at all, although no clinical trials are required. So bioequivalency of the generic product to the innovative product must be exhibited. This is what still they need in the ANDA application, that bioequivalency has to be established, that what you are supplying now, what you are offering now to the patient is the same bioequivalent to the already available drug in the market. Generic drugs have been the focus of the quest for greater affordability, but not without equal concern that weakened patent protection could debilitate the financial construct supporting future invocation. Means that even though we are advocating in each and every line about the we can say the drugs with less price, the drugs with more cheaper prices, with more access, with wider availability, that's all is good. But then if this will be the scenario, then definitely there will be concerns that who will invest that much big amount in finding out new drugs or newer molecules. So definitely that balance has to be made by the government, that generics are also pushed, but at the same time there should be a good we can say harmonious scenario or the circumstances where the inventor companies also invest money in bringing new molecules. So these are the branded drugs. These are branded drugs which are the top 10 selling in India. And now I am showing you, these are the on the left top 15 pharma companies in India which almost sell each and every branded drug. And on the right, you will see top 20 generic companies in 2020 by revenue. So what, there is one similarity here, that Sun is there also, Sun is here also, Torrent is there also, here also, Lupin is there also, Lupin is here also, Zydus also, both sides. So almost all the companies, almost I can say, are in both the charts. So what does this show us? That earlier these companies, this has been a trend. And why we are concerned and why we are like trying to analyze this scenario is so that these companies do not stop investing in bringing new molecules, new dosage formulations, new solutions to the healthcare, because what they will not stop. This is what is now evident with passing time, that earlier these companies, what they invested, they took the patent and they enjoyed that for the next 20 years or so, whatever was the period of their patent. and then they also start manufacturing the generic version of their own molecules also, and then they start giving it to the market and offering it to the market, and then they earn by that. So this is all we can say business, and definitely it will not stop. So there is no concern to be much worried about. However, there has to be a good we can say the situation in the country, so that more and more new molecules, more and more research goes into the pharmaceutical sector. But definitely each and every company finds a way, and generics is not stopping any company. Generics business is not stopping any big giant also to come and invest and then provide the generics at a cheaper price to the Indian population. So if we talk about the pharmaceuticals market, so it is also, you can say that with the good policies and with the good hard work of the pharmaceutical sector scientists, pharmacists, and the other co-workers, it is going up and up. So in 2021, it was 42 billion US dollars, and in 24, it is expected this year to be of 65 US billion dollars, and in 2030 it will be 120. In the same way, the R&D investment is also increasing day by day. And also the policies, and in the upper side, you can see that in the round graph, in the circle graph, you will see that each year the government expenditure is also increasing on health sector in India. Earlier it was 23.6, then in 17 it became 35.1, and now in the latest one in year 20 it was recorded as 46 US billion dollars. So each year it is increasing and increasing. The government is also investing more and more money for better health of the country, so that finally the SDG is achieved, and then finally our bigger goal that India becomes Viksit Bharat. And then in the same way, in the left hand side, we can see the pharmaceutical exports. The pharmaceutical export is also steadily increasing. Then moving on in the same, then if a common person, if a common citizen also, because there are so many registered participants with us, and we are not aware that each and every of them is a pharmacist or a healthcare worker or not. But still, if anybody on a common side also ask us what is a generic drug, finally, when a brand name drug's patent protection expires, and generic versions of the drug can be approved for sale. So this is the thing, that when the patent expires, then the government allows and approves the generic version of the same thing for sale in the country. The generic version works like the brand name drug in dosage, strength, performance, and use, and must meet the same quality and safety standards. All generic drugs must be reviewed and approved by regulatory authorities. So there is no generic drug. We do not need to worry about it. There is no generic drug which comes into the market without the approval, without giving all the data, without submitting the proper applications to the FDAs. And once approved, then only it comes. And when it has been assured that their dosage, strength, performance, use, everything is same and is of optimal standard of the declared standards. So a generic drug is the same as brand name drug in dosage, safety, strength, quality, the way it works, the way it is taken, the way it should be used. Same. Are generic drugs as safe as brand name drugs? Yes, all drugs must work well and be safe. Are generic drugs as strong as brand name drugs? So there is nothing like strong or weak as far as a drug is concerned, but they are of high quality, strong, pure, and stable, just like the brand name drugs. Are brand name drugs made in better factories? So nothing like that. All factories are same, all follow the same GMP rules, and they can make even a brand name drug, or the same company can, or the same manufacturing facility can make a generic drug. If brand name drugs and generic drugs have the same active pharmaceutical ingredient, why do they look different? Because trademark laws are also there into existence, and because of that, with the same ingredient also, the different companies, they make their drugs look a little bit difficult because of colors, flavors, and certain other products. But these kind of we can say inactive ingredients, they do not have any effect on the drug product as such. Does every brand name drug have a generic drug? Not essentially, but when new drugs have come, they have a certain patent, as we are now discussing. But once the patent expires, then only the generics start coming in. Do generic drugs take longer to work in the body? No, not at all. Generics are also same, so they should take the same time to give its effect, just like the brand name drugs. Why are generic drugs less expensive? We have already told, because they do not have to develop the drug, the dosage form right from the scratch. They start it when everything is already available. They have to just submit the efficacy parameters and data, and then they can start manufacturing it once the approval is provided. Why cannot companies bring a generic of a brand name drug to market immediately after the brand name drug is approved? Because they want to take use of the brand name with their patent, and once that is exhausted, then the same company also start making it most of the times, and then the other competitor companies also start making the same with the drug with the same API. So it is also, we have already discussed. So yeah, what is the approval process for generic drugs? Generally, generic drugs sell at lower price, and it is in the public interest. So generic drugs are basically for the public, that so that they get the same drug at a cheaper price with more affordability, with more accessibility. So it is the same thing is shown here. Then there are some exclusivities also other than the normal patent regime, which is a 5 years exclusivity, which is given for the new chemical entity, that nobody can touch that particular molecule for 5 years. Then there are orphan drug exclusivity, that because some companies or in some countries, they invest heavily on bringing a new molecule, and we can say that that particular drug is only for a limited population. So in that case, the country gives orphan drug exclusivity to that particular company or to that particular drug molecule, so that their expenditure it does not go in vain, and they take use of their hard work and research, and they can regain the revenue. Then there is new clinical investigation exclusivity. A brand name drug with an active ingredient that has been approved before may be awarded a 3-year exclusivity in certain circumstances, such as if the new way of delivering the active ingredient, for example, maybe a new dosage form, or a new method of delivery, we can say, or some changes in that. So in that case also, most of the countries, they give 3 years exclusivity for new clinical investigation exclusivity. Then there are some more exclusivities also with respect to patent regimes, which is pediatric, that for if the drug is only for pediatric studies and use, then 6-month exclusivity is there. Then in case of antibiotics, 5-year exclusivity is there. So these are all exclusivities given to the companies who invest heavily, and then they bring in new molecules as their invention. So this all we have already discussed. So these are all the cross means all these phases the generic companies, they do not have to follow, and instead they can straight away go for the regulatory approval process and get it, and then they start manufacturing the the drug, and then give it to the market. Then equivalence they have to assure, and equivalence of generics means this the regulatory agency, they are assuming that the generic manufacturer is having the equivalence in terms of pharmaceutical as well as bioequivalence, which put together will be called as therapeutic equivalence. And that is the reason bioavailability data is asked from them. So what affects bioavailability? So dosage form related factors are that nature of the drug formulation, chemical instability, solubility of the drug, and first pass hepatic metabolism. So these are the factors which can affect the bioavailability of the drug. And then what other factors? So these are the patient-related, patient idiosyncrasy, meals and timing, age, gender, disease, genetic traits, GI physiology, and some other related factors. So two related drugs are bioequivalent if they show comparable bioavailability and similar times to achieve peak blood concentration. So this is what we are finally aiming at, that the peak blood concentration of both the drugs, if is achieved in the same time and is comparable, then they are bioequivalent. Bioequivalent products can be substituted for each other without any adjustment in dose or other additional therapeutic monitoring. So this is the key parameter we can say, which is seen by the drug regulatory agency before issuing a licensing to the drug company for manufacturing of pharmaceuticals as generics. How is bioequivalence assessed? Bioequivalence studies are conducted in a small number of healthy, normal adult volunteers. Method is single dose, two treatment, crossover designed. Pharmacokinetic studies are designed. In US, they are conducting it on 24 to 36 patients. In Canada, only 12 patients, and WHO is also recommending for 12 patients. And we can understand here that the amount of volunteers or the amount of patients what a normal study was taking was thousands and thousands of patients, while now for the generics they are taking just 10-12 patients only. And the bioequivalence studies show that the active ingredient in patients bloodstream is the same as compared to the generic and innovator product. So the area under the curve in both the red line as well as the blue line is not much a difference. One is the red one is the innovator and blue one is the generic. And the plasma concentration, the peak plasma concentration is also attained almost in the similar time. So there is not much difference. So definitely we can rely on the bioequivalence of the generic drug as compared to the branded drug. So there is no difference as such. So there is much more to be done with respect to these generics, but instead of going into the same thing much more into the deeper, I will further go into the Jan Aushadhi Pariyojana. So what is the eligibility of opening a Pradhan Mantri Jan Aushadhi Kendra, which is basically meant for, we can say, the giving of and making available the generic medicines. So any individual in India who is having a D Pharm degree, B Pharm degree, or if they are ready to employ a D Pharm or B Pharm degree holder and produce evidence of the same, so they can apply for opening a Pradhan Mantri Bharatiya Jan Aushadhi Kendra, PMBJK, by employing them. And it can be opened by any individual, any charitable organization, any NGO, and in some cases by the government hospitals also, by some colleges also, by some medical colleges also. So this is the Pradhan Mantri Bharatiya Jan Aushadhi Pariyojana report, that the number of PMBJP Kendras functional in August 2022, the cumulative if we put is approximately 9,000. But now as of 24, it has crossed 11,000 figure, which is a very significant figure. And the sales in that August 22 report is shown to be 100 crores, but now it has crossed 500 crores. And the product basket also is medicines. They are providing 1616 number of medicines. This much number of medicines is now available as generics in Indian, we can say, generic stores. These are basically the Pradhan Mantri Bharatiya Jan Aushadhi Kendras are basically Indian generic stores. And also surgical. So they are also coming into the devices, medical devices sector, and they have already provided now 250 plus medical devices at their kendras, at their centers. And at the same time, there is a newer initiative run by them, which is very much liked by even the Prime Minister of India, which is sale of Suvidha sanitary napkin, which costs only 1 rupees, only 1 rupees per pad to the females it is provided. And even this pad is not like the manufacturing cost is also not 1 rupee, even it is more, but still the government is providing it at a cheaper price at rupees 1 per unit only. And the incentive is provided to each and every center for opening these kendras and for running and providing the drugs at accessible and affordable prices to the patients. So this is a pictorial depiction of the same, that they are selling quality generic medicines at affordable prices for all, and 250 surgicals and 1616 generic medicines are available over, as of now, 11,000 kendras or centers. So they are all almost into every sector, like the blood pressure sector, the rest of the like nutritional supplements, anti-cancer, anti-diabetes, and even during the COVID-19 also they have played a big role in India in managing and preventing the COVID-19 in its citizens. So each and every the drugs were available for each and every symptom of the COVID-19, spanning from headache, sore throat, diarrhea, sneezing, tiredness, etc. So all the drugs for these common ailments were even available at OTC, through OTC also. So anybody can approach and get medicines for these common symptoms which were experienced during the COVID-19 at very, very cheaper prices, at just throwaway prices, we can say. Then they have also developed their mobile app, which is called as Jan Aushadhi Sugam mobile application, wherein we can locate the store, we can download our invoice or our bill, we can get notifications, we can find out about details about the prescribed medications as well. Then they have ventured now into the arthritis sector also, and most of the drug combinations for the arthritis patients are now available. Then they have a full range of Jan Aushadhi antibiotics, or we can say broadly the generic antibiotics, at very, very cheaper prices, like the ofloxacin tablets 400 milligram is available at 35 rupees per 10 tablets. So this is just an unimaginable price for Cefixime, just 53 rupees for 200 milligrams tablets for a strip of 10 tablets. So nobody can think of these prices like down the line 10 years back or 15 years back or 12 years back, when these drugs or when these antibiotics were introduced respectively. So they were way higher, they were way expensive, and now they are just at below 50, below 30, below 20 rupees. Then they are into the iron deficiency anemia, because the government of India is running a very big campaign for eradicating iron deficiency anemia or sickle cell anemia from India among the various geographical locations of India. So for that, supporting and boosting that particular mission, this particular range is very much needed, and it is available at the generic stores of India. Then not only that, in cancer treatment also they are happily serving the country, and they have provided imatinib. Like now we cannot think of it. It is just 10 tablet strip is for 350, and the time when imatinib was imported from other countries to India, so that time the 1 month therapy was costing 2,86,000 rupees approximately several years back, when the same imatinib case had gone to the high courts, and then the geographical and then the intellectual property appellate board also in Chennai, and then a case was fought on the same drug, which was costing lakhs and lakhs of rupees per month. And now you can see here in this picture, it is available for 350 rupees for per 10 tablet. So just unimaginable. So there is definitely a lot of still a lot of work is to be done in this part also. So we will but go now straight into the next part of our talk, which is the Viksit Bharat, that what more we can do and how we think that now is the time for developed India, uh, how we connect our links between these small steps like the healthcare sector which we are taking, and how it is being getting connected with the bigger vision and mission of the Indian government and the Indian citizens. The Prime Minister has said that today the goal of the country is Viksit Bharat, Sashakt Bharat. We cannot stop until this dream of a developed India is fulfilled. And definitely, these are all small, but significant and very effective steps which have to be taken, and which the Indian people they are taking. And very soon, by the year 2047, India will become a developed Bharat. So what this vision is saying is that India is now at a turning point in its history, and 21st century will be India's century. It is the now, as of now, India is the fifth largest economy in the world and will be the world's third largest economy by the year 2027, as its GDP will be crossing $5 trillion. So this 5 trillion target was given by the Prime Minister of India uh, from the walls of the Red Fort few years back, and now very soon we are going to see that by the year 2027 India will be becoming the third largest economy of the world, of the globe. And these are the parameters, or these are the key points, and the data which is being evident now before all of us, which gives us the boost that definitely we can set up a target that once India completes its 100 years of independence in the year 2047, then India can definitely dream of becoming a developed country, which is called as Viksit Bharat. Because in that sense, in economic sense, if we go with the same pace, then India is poised to be a $30 trillion economy by that time. And definitely by that time, then we can think of that we will become a developed nation. Then again and again, we are using this term, which is known as developed nation or Viksit Bharat in Hindi. Then there comes into picture three organizations, which is United Nations Development Program, UNDP, IMF, International Monetary Fund, and the World Bank. And they classify countries on their level of development using approaches, which I am not an economist, so not very much clear to me, and maybe some newspapers say they are not very clear. Though India ranks comparatively higher in some of the macro parameters, but it is below some of the poorest countries in Human Development Index. All the three global agencies describe India as of now also as a developing country. So what is this HDI or the Human Development Index? The Human Development Index is given by the UNDP. The HDI was created to emphasize that people and their capabilities should be ultimately the criteria for assessing the development of a country and not economic growth alone. And definitely India 100% conforms to it, and there is no doubt about it that not only the economic criteria is a good criteria for assessing whether the country is a developed country, or a medium country, but instead of that there should be other indicators also, and these other indicators should directly relate with the citizens of that country. And the dimensions which have been agreed by the UNDP for calculating the HDI of each country is long and healthy life, second being knowledge of the citizens, and third being a decent standard of living. And the indicators on which they work and they calculate is life expectancy at birth, then expected years of schooling, mean years of schooling again calculated, and gross national income per capita. So these are the various indicators and the indexes based on which Human Development Index is calculated. And as of now, we are not in a very good scenario, but definitely with the increasing pace of economy of the country, and with doing in so many sectors at a very good speed and efficiency, we are hopeful that we will achieve it. So what are those parameters where we are doing good and why we are, thinking of this trajectory that we can achieve it when we are not having such a remarkable point as far as Human Development Index is concerned. So because of these quantum leaps, which India has already shown, like in sports, in space missions, in healthcare, in Jan Dhan accounts, in climate goals, education, digital infrastructure, then global standing, and then the management of the COVID vaccines as well as the COVID disease. So all these are the very key parameters, or we can say the key elements which we have just shown, that these all areas we have demonstrated quantum leap, and the world has seen that India is doing fantastically good. So these all areas, we can say that they propel us that now is the time. Now is our time when we can shift ourselves and put the next gear, or you can say the fourth gear, and speed up and become a developed country at the earliest. And for understanding this, the government has given these, we can say the project in the mission, which is like the Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra, which the government is undertaking, and the key objectives of which become the reaching to the unreached. They want to reach to the each and every citizen, even if they are far away from the main areas of dissemination of administration. Then information dissemination, learning from the citizens, and potential beneficiary enrollment. So these are the steps which this particular Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra project is going to undertake under this Viksit Bharat mission. And this is, we can say, the first step they are going to take, and they have already started it. The second being the Amrit Kal Vimarsh, means that each and every Indian citizen, wherever he is in India, outside India, in any public domain, government domain, wherever, private domain, whatever sector they are working, but they have to start thinking about the Amrit Kal Vimarsh, means they have to start a dialogue process. They have to start a lecturing process. They have to start a talk process. They have to engage into it, that yes, our mission is this, and what do I do? I mean, each and every person, they are expecting that has to devote himself to this particular mission in their life, that by 2047 India reaches there, and everybody has to give their particular help, or we can say their in Hindi and Sanskrit we call it the ahuti, into this particular yagna, and they have to contribute towards the making of India as the Viksit Bharat. Then there is also a third element, and this third element is given none other than Prime Minister Modi himself, that he says that there has to be a voice of youth in this particular mission. Then only this mission can be achieved, and he has given this voice of youth on December 11th, now in the last month itself. And I was lucky to be part of that event when Prime Minister Modi has inaugurated this event, and I was very much at the Raj Bhavan in New Delhi, where this was inaugurated on 11th December 2023, where Prime Minister has talked straight to the universities and to the professors, and he has asked that if we engage the youth with us and with the universities, in line with the policies of the Indian government and the state governments, then only these targets can be achieved. Because it is this generation which now is studying in schools or in maybe the colleges and universities, which is going to make India the Viksit Bharat in the next 20 years or so. Because by the time those who are already fully grown up, or those who are already fully matured in their careers as of now, they will be in a declining stage by that time. But those who are now studying in the universities and colleges, they are the youth, they are the generations who have to be aligned, though, and they are the people who will make India a bright India, a Viksit India. So this is what Prime Minister Modi said on that day. And for that, he has mentioned these as the key stakeholders. And one is administration. So without any doubt, so the administration has to work for it. Then the academic institutions, he is giving the maximum importance that the academic institutions have to create awareness, and the students, teachers, the managements, they have to play key roles. And the teachers, they have to give the vision, they have to give the guidance, and it is the students who will be finally doing it. So also, I mean, it has also been now it is said, and in the same event, it was also emphasized that in the history, if we see, then various nations have grabbed a particular moment in their history, and then they made themselves into a developed country. It is something like that, because we have to see the others example also. If we see the example of Japan, which is a fully super developed country, so by the time when we were getting our freedom and the World War II was going on, so that time we all know that that Japan was like completely deteriorated because of the aftermath of the World War II, and also the atomic bombs at Hiroshima and Nagasaki. But then Japan again stood up, and in the 50s and 60s, they did a miracle, which is called as Japanese post-war economic miracle, and they became the global economic powerhouse. So this is something like that we have to learn from these examples. Then another example of economic miracle is from Germany. Germany was also something of the same nature, but then in these 3 decades of 50, 60, and 70, it completely changed itself. Singapore has even later changed itself. Earlier, Singapore was not any developed country. Up to even 60s and 70s, it was a developing and a poor country. But now you see that Singapore is one of the most technologically sophisticated country. Similarly, Korea, South Korea, and South Korea was also suffering because of the war between the South Korea and North Korea. But then they also shifted themselves into the developed country through their hard work between the years of 60s to 90s, which is called as miracle on the Han River. So this is something like about timing also. These nations, they knew that this is their timing and they have to take use of it. And now is our time. India too is at the cusp of such an opportunity, and we have to take use of it. And why we are at this opportunity? Because of this figures. Now we have 1,000 plus universities. Now we have 43,000 plus colleges, 11,000 plus standalone institutions, 4 crore plus students. Our gross enrollment ratio is getting increased. So in each and every point of education sector, health sector, we are gaining. So definitely these sectors can yield and make India a Viksit Bharat. Now we have 1,56,000 Ayushman Bharat centers, 13.97 lakh Anganwadi centers for early childhood care and education. Now our health indicators are improving with respect to infant mortality rate, maternal mortality rate, and the percentage of children underweight have also dramatically fallen. Over 10 crore women and children are covered under the Poshan mission, where supplements are given to the children so that they do not get malnourished, to save them from malnutrition. Our immunization mission, which is called as Mission Indradhanush, so that is like a bumper thing. It has gone from 62% to 81% immunization, which is very good figure. We are close to achieving universal coverage with respect to electricity, drinking water, bank account, road, mobile connectivity. So now all these basic things, they are everywhere. So there is no dearth of these kind of connectivity now. Then for the distressed and poor, they have the Manrega and all, and also some certain schemes for housing, which is called as Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. Then in India, we have 120 crore mobile phone users, which is unparalleled. We have 80 crore internet users, which is the highest. We have 30 crore unified payment interface, and every single second, so many UPI transactions are happening, and over 40% of all digital transactions happening in India are UPI based. Now India has massive expansion with respect to highway network, railways, air travel, airports are increasing, and with respect to space missions, the Chandrayaan has just shown its might. And it is needless to say, we all are witness to it during the COVID. Our COVID platform was one of the best in the world globally. Our IT and non-IT sectors are also now becoming global. The Digital India and Startup India is now taking shape and is everywhere in the country. And India is also home to 100 unicorns as far as startup is concerned. And world's third largest startup ecosystem, we can say, now our country has become. So how and based on what we are thinking of making India a superpower, or we can say a civil developed country or a Viksit Bharat. So another strong advantage with us is that India is a young nation in terms of median age of 29 years of its citizen. So the 29 years is the age of our citizens, while in most of the developed countries, their population is most of their population is aging, but it is not the case with India. So these are the people who in the next 20 years they will give their best efforts, all-round efforts, and then India definitely can become a developed country. India accounts for 20% of the world's total young population. So 20% of chunk of the young population is with us. So definitely we can do each and everything. So this is an enormous opportunity which will be with us by the year 2047 also. And using this dividend, we can propel India into a Viksit Bharat. With respect to COVID-19 vaccines, we all know, so needless to talk about it again and again. And saying it in conclusion, collective efforts of healthcare force of India along with its citizens can propel India into a Viksit Bharat, and definitely by 2047, India will be a developed country. I assume so. I hope so. Thank you. Thank you so much. These are my references. Thanks for your time, concern, and attention towards the topic. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for delivering such a knowledgeable session on Pradhan Mantri Jan Aushadhi Pariyojana. You discussed in detail about the policy of government and WHO regarding the safe, effective, quality, and cheaper medicines to be affordable and available to the Indian population. You also talked about how the essential medicine list were prepared and updations done in the list progressively. Also, ensuring the fair prices of medicines by the drug regulating authority. So you have successfully presented the perspective of government regarding fulfilling the health needs of Indian population. You also provided a good information on medicines having patent for 20 years by the companies done research or developed that particular drugs, and after that it may be manufactured by other companies to provide that drug at the low cost without compromising the good manufacturing practice and good laboratory practices. So we can trust on the quality of generic medicines, which is a big concern for general public. I think the awareness program conducted through these webinars provide a good knowledge to all the professionals in the field. Thank you, sir. Now, there are some questions from the participants in the chat box, and there's a very big response from all the participants regarding the webinar, and it is very knowledgeable for all the participants. You have a good connect with all the participants, and there are a lot of questions I can see in the chat box. So one of the questions which the participant wants to ask is, in Pradhan Mantri Jan Pariyojana, beside generic medical stores, what may be the role of pharmacist in Ayushman card, patient counseling, etc.?
So definitely the Ayushman Kendras are the ones for which like the on a economic basis, the government is giving these particular cards to the people of the country so that they are not left out, so that they can visit even the private hospitals, even the non-government organizations who are holding platforms for delivery of health services, and they also cater to them with the same regard, respect, and utmost care. So this is what the mission is. So because if a medical service is available, then it should be available equally for all. But definitely everything has a cost to it. So the government is doing that part through this particular card. As far as pharmacist is concerned, so definitely we will be catering to the best counseling of the patients and catering to their pharmaceutical and medical needs through our practice, even if we are in the hospital or even if we are in these kendras or in the Pradhan Mantri Jan Aushadhi Pariyojana. Wherever we are working, we can definitely deliver the services with our best care and best regard and respect to the patients in alignment with the government policies. And that is what a Indian pharmacist is trained and educated for.
Thank you, sir. The next one is what is the investment for opening the Jan Aushadhi Kendra? One participant has asked this question.
See, the thing is that for opening the Jan Aushadhi Kendra, it all depends on you. Basically, the first and foremost is the eligibility. The eligibility being the education and training, which is D-Pharm and B-Pharm. And after that, you have to have a space, because the space is not given for opening the drugstore by the government. You have to have your own space, your own infrastructure, but the supplies will be given by the government. And initially, I believe like something like 2 to 4 lakhs amount should be good enough to start with, because you have to have a minimum amount of drugs to start your store running, and then you can have a carryover system of ordering and then paying and then again ordering and then again paying. But at the same time, the good part is that the government also gives some reliefs to the new entrants into the business, and then they give some incentives also per month based on your new entries into your venture. So that is also a good part, that it is available. Earlier it was available for 2 years. Now you have to check on their Pradhan Mantri Jan Aushadhi Pariyojana website whether it is available for 1 year or 2 years still is available there.
Thank you, sir. I think this may be a beneficial knowledge for a lot of participants.
Yeah, this is a subsidy actually. They are giving subsidy for the new entrants. Yeah, because they want that more and more Pradhan Mantri Jan Aushadhi Pariyojana Kendras are being opened by the new pharmacists, so that it becomes more and more readily available to the citizens in various geographical parts of the countries and cities. So that is why they are giving this as a subsidy, per month subsidy.
Right, sir. So the next one is, are there any medicines for rare diseases like SCID, severe combined immunodeficiency, or biologicals in Jan Aushadhi Pariyojana? Medicines for rare diseases.
So far, I have not heard about the rare diseases and the biological parts, because first of all, they are aiming at the sectors or at the segments which are affecting more and more population, because we have to finally achieve our SDG goals, our UNDP commitments, and our WHO commitments. So, I mean, the participant who has raised this question, he very well understands that the rare means the only a small segment of the population is affected with that.
Right.
But soon,
Right, sir.
but soon we are expecting that they will go into those kind of segments, and they will also be available, because now, as of now, I have already shown you the cancer drugs are already available, and some of them even for the immunity regulators are also available. But I cannot say very particularly about any particular disease whether its remedies are available or not.
Right, sir. So the next one is, how does the government plan to address the challenges in the distribution and logistics of pharmaceuticals to ensure the efficient implementation?
Yeah, because this is definitely a good question. So for example, I am giving you one example, that for Delhi region, or we can say that this North Belt, what they have done is they have established a very, very big, we can say a depot or a warehouse in Gurugram in Haryana, and from there then they are channelizing their all transportation and the distribution network. So whosoever from their retail store, they are giving the deficiency on a daily basis or on a weekly basis. So that deficiency goes into their software, and from there then they send packets and boxes to the concerned retail stores through their distributors. But then this is what they are doing, that near Mumbai, like near Hyderabad, near Delhi, they are now establishing more and more big warehouses, just like the private companies like Amazon, Flipkart, and all, like the way they are doing. In the same way, now the Jan Aushadhi Pariyojana is also operating, and they are having those warehouses for channel distribution.
Right, sir. So the next one is, what measures are taken to ensure the quality and safety of generic medicines provided under these programs?
See, the quality and the quality as far as is concerned is taken care of by the respective Food and Drug Administration of that state where the drugs are manufactured, and also investigated and taken care of by the CDSCO as well. So the Pradhan Mantri Pariyojana as such, they are not directly, I believe, into it, but then the drugs are manufactured at a particular place in different states, and that particular state FDA is very much taking good control and good care of the quality part, because they go there periodically, they check their manufacturing records, and also they ask the manufacturers to submit it from time to time, and also for getting the dosage form manufactured. First of all, they have to submit the data which is being kept by the regulator for a year or two, and then reviewed, and then if it is found correct, then only they give the licensing for manufacturing in compliance of CGMP terms and conditions.
Thank you, sir. The next question is, how has the awareness and acceptance of generic medicines evolved among the Indian population over the years?
See, I mean, earlier to this, I can very much with confidence say that everyone was like having this thing in mind, that we have to spend a lot of money out of pocket for purchasing the medicines. But once, from the last 10 years or so, once these Pradhan Mantri Jan Aushadhi Pariyojana was launched, and these generic medicines were available to the common public at various platforms through these generic drug stores. So the acceptability is very high. And one of the table I have shown you, that earlier it started with 100 crores, and now it has gone to so many crores, few hundreds and hundreds of crores. So that figure itself shows the acceptability. And also they are operating it not only for the profit earning, but I have shown you one very big and very prominent example of selling the sanitary pad at a cost of just 1 rupee, which is, we can say, in terms of US dollar, if we talk, then 1/85 of the dollar price is only for one pad. So that is just unimaginable, that even the government might be spending even more than this on manufacturing it. Who can like make a
Right,
pad in 1 rupee?
right, sir. Sir, the next question is, in your opinion, what are the key challenges that still need to be addressed to ensure the continued success of these healthcare transformation programs?
See, the key element which has to be taken care of is like a bridging between the pharmaceutical sector and the medical sector. The major hurdle being that still most of the doctors, or you can say the urbanized doctors especially, if I say, then they are still writing the branded drugs, and which are definitely way higher, way costlier. So what can be a like a 50-50 like scenario where both of them feels a win-win situation, is that they can write or they can be recommended, or they can be directed by the Medical Council of India, or by their medical commission, or by the Government of India, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, to write the branded drug whichever they want, but in bracket or beneath that they can write the generic version. so that if the patient wants to buy a branded, they can straight away go to the drugstore and buy for it. Or if they want to go for a cheaper one, then they can go to the generic store and ask for a generic version of the same, which is written beneath it. So this could be a good situation where nobody is losing anything, neither the doctor nor the pharmacist and nor the patient, and everybody is benefited. So these kind of coordination has to be developed over a period of time for the success.
Thank you so much, sir. I think all the participants have got satisfied with all the answers you have given. You have wonderfully explained each and everything, and the session was very good. So now here we come to the conclusion of the webinar. So in conclusion, the transformative journey we have explored today through the lens of transforming healthcare in India, Pradhan Mantri Jan Aushadhi Pariyojana and the Viksit Bharat mission is a testament to the collaborative efforts and visionary initiatives that pave the way for the healthier and more developed India. Dr. Saurabh Dahiya's insights have illuminated the path forward, showcasing the potential impact of accessible pharmaceuticals and the holistic development envisioned by the Viksit Bharat mission. As we navigate the dynamic landscape of healthcare, let us remain inspired by the possibilities and outlined in today's discussion. The Pradhan Mantri Jan Aushadhi Pariyojana and the Viksit Bharat mission exemplify the power of strategic planning, innovation, and community engagement in reshaping the healthcare narrative. We extend our sincere gratitude to Dr. Shashi Alok, the National President of SPSR, for gracing us with his esteemed presence today. In acknowledging your dedication and leadership, we express our heartfelt thanks for your invaluable contributions. Your presence adds immense value to our collaborative pursuit of knowledge and excellence in the field. In extending our deepest gratitude to the eminent speaker, Dr. Saurabh Dahiya, for generously sharing his expertise and invaluable perspectives. Our heartfelt appreciation also goes to our esteemed convener, Mrs. Monica Sabarwal, for her pivotal role in orchestrating this insightful event. We extend our sincere thanks to all the participants, recognizing the collective effort that has effectively pushed the boundaries of knowledge. Furthermore, we express our gratitude to all the participants for their active engagement and thoughtful contributions, which have greatly enriched the depth and scope of our discussions. Thank you for being an integral part of the 35th SPSR webinar, and we look forward to future endeavors that contribute to the betterment of healthcare and well-being for all. Have a wonderful day ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Pradeep, Dr. Shashi, Dr. Monica, and all the exciting participants who have taken keen interest in all the topics, and they have raised a lot of queries, and I too was so much excited to answer all the participants. And thank you so much for your time, energy, patience, and being together with all of us. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. It was very wonderful.